God says it doesn't matter if you're too fat or too skinny. God doesn't matter, or God says it doesn't matter if you have enough money or you have enough money. God doesn't care if if your family accepts you or your friends, or God doesn't matter if everyone accepts you or no one accepts you. God doesn't care if I mean, of course he cares about this stuff. That's definitely not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that I mean, of course, God wants people to be in, good family situations. God wants people to, be loved, and He wants their needs to be met down here. Of course, like I said, love people. That's what we're supposed to do. Um, but we're not supposed to sit there and put people above God or anything else. You know, even ourselves. And when we do that, we you know, in the sense of the word, we're cursed. We reap the consequences of our actions, and the consequences being we're going against our real nature. Now, when we're born into this world, we have something called a nature, but it's a fallen nature. We weren't meant to run around and kind of like what I was saying before, but I got sidetracked. People, kind of run around their whole lives and chase something. Everybody's chasing something. Some people do drugs, other people are chasing money and they're just trying to get more and more and more and more and more. Other people chase clothes, other people I don't know, become obsessed with their girlfriends or the boyfriends or their husbands or their wives, or it could be anything. That's crazy. And it happens every day. But that's not the way it's supposed to be. And when that stuff happens, it's only a matter of time before that person or whatever that you're putting all your energy into, that's it. And then what? I mean, I'm not speaking from my experience at all. As of right now, I'm not speaking from my experiences. I didn't use really too much any of my experiences. I don't put stock into people I never really have. I never, when I was younger, I never really looked up to anyone. I never had that idol, what sometimes when you hear, athletes when they're younger, some people say, I looked up to Michael Jordan or whoever, when I never really looked up to anyone, at all. It's not that I didn't have people to look up to. The world's full of people. I just never really looked up to people. I never really I never really wanted to be anybody but who I was. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that, I live in this world. And just because I didn't really care too much about trying to be somebody else, it never meant that I was exempt from putting my identity in certain parts of this world. We all live on this planet, and it's ingrained in all of us. Like I said, it's part of our nature, and that nature being fallen. And so when we accept Christ and put our faith in that finished work, all of a sudden we become it's called sanctification, and sanctification is a lifelong process, and he changes you into the person that he originally created you to be. But he has to get a hold of you first, and that could be a process, and it is a process. Like I said, it's a lifelong process. A lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of ins, a lot of outs, or whatever. I mean, it doesn't mean that everything is horrible. It doesn't mean that, but nonetheless. So I don't think I really have too much else to say beyond that. I'm just kind of out here enjoying myself. It's past 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, it's nice. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I really wanted to say. And another thing, I noticed amongst humans, we like to, I mean, again, I don't do all this stuff, but I see it, take selfies all the time. That's if that's you, I'm not look, I mean, I don't tell people what to do at all. That's not even what these videos are about. I mean, it's just not only is it annoying, but it's just I don't know, why though? It's just a form of narcissism. I mean, I could see if you're kind of hanging out with your friends and you just want to take a little picture with your friend or something or whatever. That's cool. Nothing wrong with taking a selfie every now and then. But I mean, when, you know, so I'm, you know, and you know, they even have something, you know, selfie sticks. Like, society just promotes, you know, self-love. And what I mean by self-love, I don't mean like real, like God calls us to love ourselves. We are supposed to love ourselves. But there's a difference between narcissism. There's a difference between, you know, what the world says is love versus what God says is love. The world says take selfies all day. Because if you don't, you know, that's oh, he just loves himself. No. He or she, like, dude, that's crazy. You know, that's not love. That's just, hold on. That's just flattering you. Oh, I thought my phone dropped out. That's just flattering yourself. You know, I don't really know exactly what to call that, but that's not loving yourself. That's narcissism. Definitely a form of it. And again, it goes with our nature. Some people have narcissism to the extent of a disorder. Some people are like, you know, it becomes a problem with people. But narcissism is in our, you know, narcissism is pride. Narcissism says me in every situation. You know, like what am I going to get out of it? That mentality. Like, you know, so why did you help this person over here? Oh, because it made me feel good. Okay, well, what if it made you feel bad? Would you still help them? You know, like, what if it didn't give you those warm, fuzzy feelings? Like, would you still help this person that was in need? Or, you know, let's say that you had to sit there and live a couple days. Like, let's say if there was a person sitting over there leaning against the wall and they had nothing, they were just sitting there holding a cardboard box. They didn't want my money, they just wanted a sandwich. It's not like some drunk guy, or it's not like some homeless guy just wanted to get a bottle of booze and use my money to do it. I'm talking about somebody who genuinely just wanted a sandwich. They're hungry, they're homeless, nowhere to go, and they just wanted a sandwich. But it's kind of a dumb way to put it. But, you know, I walk up to this person and, you know, I help them, but, and, you know, normally that would make somebody feel good. But let's just say hypothetically, instead of let's just say like the you know, next 2 days after helping this person, you knew that because you helped this person, you were going to go through a hard time for the next 2 days. Would you really help this person? I mean, like, hard times, I'm not talking about, like, anything too crazy or anything like that, but let's just say your life was going to be mighty uncomfortable and you weren't going to like the next 48 hours after helping this homeless person. You know, would you still help them? Would you still meet their need? Would you still put something in their stomach? Or would you kind of sidestep the situation because it didn't make you feel good? You know? Like, there's nothing wrong with helping somebody, but that's what I'm saying. Like, our motives are jacked up. We think we're doing good, but we're really not. And, you know, so you could agree or not agree, you know, but would you really help that person? I mean, it happens all the time. There's nothing wrong with helping people, but, you know, oh, it just makes me feel good to help people. Sure it does, but what if it made you feel like junk? What if it made you feel, what if it really gave you a hard time for the next 2 days, like I said? Would you still help that person? Or would you just let that person go hungry? I don't know. Would you? So, you know, that's what I'm saying. I mean, like, we have this, you know, what's in it for me attitude, which is narcissism. You know, like, we do things because it makes us feel good, or, you know, stuff like that. I mean, there's a difference between, you know, now, of course, nobody's saying don't do stuff to feel good. You know, like, if you are doing something for somebody that makes them, you know, like, let's say you're doing something for somebody and it makes you feel good. Well, is it making them feel good too, or not? I mean, if it's not, then look, what I'm saying is that if you're going to do something, do it with pure motives, regardless of how it makes you feel. There's nothing wrong with feeling good, you know, when you do stuff, but, you know, I mean, do you understand what I'm trying to say? There's nothing wrong with feeling good and you know, like, while you're doing stuff with somebody, but if your motives are all jacked up, then, you know, what good is the feeling? It's just nothing but a feeling. You're basically using this person as a drug. You're just helping this person because it makes you feel good. There's nothing wrong with feeling good, but again, what if it made you feel bad? What if it didn't make you feel good at all? What if it made you feel the total opposite? Would you still do it for this person? You know, this again, that's kind of a dumb way. That's kind of a dumb way to put it, but it's the best I got. You know, and it makes sense. It makes sense. It really does. So that's what I'm saying. That's just the mindset of society, and that's not love. That's just, you know, I'm going to give love so I can get love. I'm going to give love so I can feel good, or I'm going to love this person just so I look good to everybody else. I'm going to give to this charity so people notice me, and so people, you know, think I'm a good person, and people say, oh, Bob is such a good guy. He gave you know, a couple $1,000s to some charity, and all of a sudden Bob is all smiles. Well, that's just, you're not doing it for good purposes. You're not doing it for good reason. You know, you're doing it for notoriety or for that feel good thing, kind of like I said, a drug. You know, so that's, you know, and like we rationalize it. You know, and you know, it was once said to me, because I was having this conversation with somebody, man, over 10 years ago. I mean, it was probably like 11 years ago. Close enough. Maybe it was 10. I don't even. Who cares? It was long enough, man. And you know that this. He was an older dude, not old, but he was older than me, probably like maybe 5-6 years older than me or something at the time. But you know, he was you know, he was. I was just saying. I was like, okay, well, you know. I mean, this was so long ago, I forgot, you know, I forgot exactly how I phrased the question. I just said, well, something about, you know, motives and helping people, and he went on to say, okay, well, why else would you, you know, and then he asked me, he goes, okay, he's like, why do you help people? And I just said, I help people to, you know, because they need help, and you know, I'm not trying to sit here and act better than anybody else. Trust me, I'm not. I'm just simply saying that that's just the way of the world. Like, people need, you know, people need that feel-good feeling. They need that, you know, if it doesn't feel good, I'm not going to do it. You know, if it feels good, do it. If it doesn't, don't, sort of thing. You know, like, we like to ride our emotions and you know, we're just too caught up in ourselves. That's what I'm saying. Like, we're too caught up in ourselves. We have this, if it feels good, do it. If it doesn't, don't, sort of, you know, mentality. So that's not love. That's just selfishness disguised as love, and those aren't pure motives. And you know, so, and again, that's, you know, that's the fallen nature. And so I don't know, I pretty much said out, you know, everything I had to say. So I just wanted to drop that, you know, this quick video. I gotta run and do something now, but you know, yeah, I mean, the basic summary of let me go this way. The basic summary of this video is obviously the world is fleeting. It changes every day. Everything changes. Your financial situation, the people who you hang out with now, even your family, everything changes. Nobody's saying nobody's saying don't love people. Nobody's saying don't feel, you know, content with people. Nobody's saying don't trust people. But, you know, this world is all temporary. Like I said, it's like a, you know, it's like a hotel or a motel or something. You know, you're just here for a certain amount of time, and then you pack your bags and you're gone. This is not your home. It's not my home. We're just here passing through, and everything you see, feel, and touch, and whatever, that's all temporary. So, you know, trust me. I mean, you know, we were put here to put our identity in something that's firm and something that's solid versus something that's just, you know, could bend and break at any given time. If you know, if the wind blows hard enough, then, you know, the lights go out and everything comes tumbling down. That's planet Earth. Planet Earth is very fragile, very temporary, you know. And so that's all I have to say. I'm I'm gonna upload this video, and you people have a nice afternoon.